Hey lovelies, welcome back to the channel. If you're a new viewer, my name is Doris Talmon. I'm Nigerian, but I live in Saudi Arabia with my family. I share my experiences living here in Saudi Arabia, and we get to talk about life's issues generally. And today it's more of a rant, okay? I want us to talk about being married to a medical doctor. So how is it for you as a man or a woman married to a medical doctor or a nurse? Now there are some regrets that I have, and one of them is the fact that I got married to a man who loves me so much, who is a good guy, who is family oriented but does not have time for us. Because of the work schedule of doctors and nurses, it's very difficult for them to have that, 100% family time. All right, they try a lot. Most doctors that I know are good guys and are family oriented. They love their family, but the profession does not give them the time to express, how much that they love their families. Back in Nigeria, my husband worked in another local government and we lived in another local government. He worked at a general hospital and he would go 1 week in and 1 week off. But then I had my sister and my nanny live with me, and my mother-in-law, my mom, they would always come around. So I didn't feel that much of, frustration like I've felt when I came to Saudi Arabia. All right. So here in Saudi Arabia, my husband works 8 hour shift. If he goes to work by 8 a.m., he comes back by 4. If he goes by 4, he comes back by 12. If he goes by 12, he comes back by 8 a.m. So this 12 midnight is like the issue for me. So when he comes back by 8, sometimes he has another shift by 4 p.m. So when he comes back by 8, he spends the entire day sleeping. And I know very well that he's going to wake up and go back to work. So this has been a challenge for me. And sometimes there was a day I got so angry and I told him that sometimes I feel like I'm a baby mama who does not have a baby father in the picture. And he didn't take it to heart at all. He just laughed over it and tried to calm me down. I understand that it's very difficult for them as well, owing to the fact that it's not like they want to stay away from their family. It's not deliberate, but it's the profession. All right. And closely related to this, another downside of being married to a doctor is the fact that they're always reading for one exam or the other until they reach the apex of that career. So I don't know when it ends, but for now, it is from one exam to the other. So when it's even a doctor that intends to practice outside of their home country, the exams are even more. Take for instance, doctors that migrate from Nigeria to UK, for example. While some of them already take their residency training exams in Nigeria and they commence their training, they call it the primaries, right? And then in the middle of it, they want to jackpa. Then they have to take IELTS. They take PLAB 1, PLAB 2. So even when they get to the UK, they have to take another residency training exam for them to, commence residency in the UK. So it's from one exam to the other. So imagine someone is studying for an exam that is very important. When will the person have time, to have your time? So it's been very difficult, and I just wanted to rant about it and also, talk to somebody that's intending to get married to a doctor. You should know what you're getting into. All right. And then to someone that is married to a doctor here watching me right now and he or she has found a balance, please, I want to know, tell me in the comment section, how have you been able to do it? Like, on my part, I'm trying. All right. So we try to find a balance. Like anytime my husband is off, he tries to make it up to me. He takes us out, he buys us stuff, and he just spends time with us. Then another downside of being married to a doctor is the fact that back in Nigeria, where I come from, I always make reference to Nigeria because that's where I grew up and that's where I relate to. People assume that doctors are rich people. I don't know if it's just me or the people around me, or there's someone out there who can attest to what I've just said. So they just assume that you're married to a doctor, so your husband should have money. Like in my place, I'm Tiv, by the way, they will call you Kwasu Otwe. That's like doctor's wife. So they always want you to have money. But they fail to understand that doctors are not rich people. Like especially junior doctors. I'm not talking about those that have, reached the apex of their career. But junior doctors are just comfortable. All right, they are not super super rich, they're not rich, they're just comfortable. But people have this assumption that doctors have money, so they always come to you with demands and requests, and when you're not able to meet them, you become a bad person. You guys have money, you're married to a doctor, and you don't want to give us this money. So if you're intending to get married to a doctor, these are some of the things that you're going to face. Okay. So another downsides of being married to a doctor, I would say, is people assume that you can prescribe medication for them. I don't know if I'm the only one that has had these experiences where, family members and friends will just call you. I'm feeling like this, so please, what can I take? A marriage certificate I get to, no be induction certificate. I'm not a medical doctor. But then they expect you to, since your husband is a doctor, you should know what drug they can take for malaria, you should know what drug they can take for typhoid or whatever it is that is disturbing them. So when they call you, you should always be able to provide solutions to their problems, their health challenges. So this is like a downside. You get those calls a lot. And even if they're not going to like ask you to prescribe medication, they'll always tell you to, can you ask your husband? I'm not feeling fine. Please ask your husband. My mom is guilty of this. I know she's watching me right now. Tell your husband that those who is not feeling well, these are our symptoms. So what should we do? So that's like one of the downsides of getting married to a doctor. And I find it funny anyway. If you are intending to get married to a doctor, I would tell you that you should know that your husband to be or your wife to be is not going to have your time, and it will not be any fault of his or hers, okay? It won't be their fault that they do not have your time. It's just because of the demands of the profession. So you'll have to be understanding. Some days you're going to cry, some days you're going to question if he or she loves you or not. Like I've questioned lots of times. I've been stranded here in Saudi Arabia. So most times I schedule my production plan. I'm going to shoot content on this day, and then my husband tells me he's off. And then something happens to the rota and they call him, please, Dr. Suma, can you come and cover for this person? Can you come and take a patient to Tabo? Can you come and take a patient on referral, please? And then it affects my schedule, my plan, and I get really, really stranded. And another thing that makes me regret sometimes being married to a doctor is the fact that you live in constant fear of the fact that any contagious disease or any infectious disease could break out anytime, and my husband is going to be the first point of contact. He's going to come in contact with that and then come back home and meet us, his family. So am I the only one that always has this fear, especially during COVID and all that? I don't know if it's paranoia, but I think about it a lot, and one cannot be 100% careful as a human being. Mistakes happen. So being married to a doctor is quite challenging, and I knew it was challenging. It's not like I didn't know I was going to face all of this, but nothing prepares you like your own experience. Okay, nothing prepares you for your own experience until you have that first-hand experience. You may never understand, even when someone tells you. To make matters worse is when we live outside of our home country where we do not have that extended family support. Like where I live, for instance, there are no breaks to looking after my child. I cannot call someone, please, a cousin or a sister or my mom. I'm like, please, can you help with the child? I want to do this. It is when he gives me time that I do whatever I want to do. It is when he gives me time that I shoot content. It is when right now it's around 12 a.m. here. He's off to bed. That's why I'm here shooting content. I had planned to shoot this video throughout the day, but it didn't work out. And my husband, as usual, was at work. He came back and they had dinner and they went to bed. That's why I'm here shooting. When I'm done, I'll still edit and I'll end up going to bed around 3, 4 a.m. thereabout. So it's like that, and I'm struggling. In essence, what I'm trying to say is that being married to a doctor or a nurse, it's very, very tough. All right, I don't know for others, but personally I find it very, very tough. You can imagine that the day I went to give birth, my husband was on duty at his hospital, and it was such a coincidence that he was handling a labor because a lady was in labor while I was groaning somewhere. My husband was trying to deliver another lady of her child. Okay, and he was not there. I drove myself to the hospital. He was not present, and I almost lost my life in the process. But that story for another day, I'll share with you guys. If you've been married to a doctor or a nurse for many years, can you tell me how you do it? Can you tell me how you've been able to find a balance? Are there days that you wish that you never got married to someone in the medical profession in the first place? Thank God so much for this platform that I have. Okay, I can always come and rant, and I'll have someone who is more experienced than me, someone that is well traveled than me, be able to advise me in the comment section. So thank you so much if you've watched this video this far, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Okay, let me know your thoughts about this video. If you found it useful, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below, and please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. All right, I'm so grateful to you guys. Can you hear that? That's my son. He woke up, he's crying. So this is where we end this video, guys. I will see you in my next one. You guys should take care of yourselves.